Yeah, recording has started. So I'm sharing my screen. So is my screen is visible to everyone, right? Okay. See, so the first thing is, first if you want to download the first thing in order to work on this particular Power BI desktop, the first thing is you need to download the Power BI desktop into your local system. Okay. So without installing of the Power BI desktop, you will be not able to work on this data, or we can load the data into the Power BI desktop. So in the first step, there will be two steps. There will be two procedures how you can how you can download the Power BI desktop into your local system. The first system, you can download the Power BI desktop through Microsoft Store. See, if the Microsoft Store is installed in your system, you can download the data Power BI desktop through Microsoft Store. There is another way how you can download the Power BI desktop by using your Google browser. From Google Chrome also you can download. So what is the difference? You can ask me, what is the difference if you download the Power BI desktop through this Microsoft Store system or through a Google browser? Okay. So if you have the Microsoft Store in their system, just click on the Microsoft Store. So this Power, once you click on here, I've already typed it as Power BI. So if you type as Power BI, see here Power BI desktop will be coming. Click on it. Once you click on this Power BI desktop, this icon will appear. Okay. So once it is asking, there was an error, it is able to asking you to update. So if already it is Power BI desktop is installed in my system. Okay. So it will show you if it is not installed in your system. Suppose I'm clicking on Microsoft Store over here. I will come back here in the Microsoft Store. One second. Yeah, it is saying some, yeah. So already Power BI desktop is installed in my system. Okay. If it is installed in my system, it will ask me for to open. Okay. But if it is not installed in your system, it will ask you for download. Once you click on this download, your Power BI desktop will be installed in your system. So this is how you can download the Power BI desktop to Microsoft Store system. So now now I'm opening the Power BI. So once you install it, when you come to the search button, the Power BI desktop icon will be appearing. Once you click on this Power BI desktop, then the Power BI desktop will be open. So you can see it is opening over here. Okay. This is how you can download the Power BI desktop through Microsoft Store. Once you open the Power BI desktop and once you install through Microsoft Store, but when I install it here, it is showing it as already open because I have already installed, because I'm taking the classes in this. So already it is installed in my system. It is asking me to give open. But in case if you have Microsoft, it will show option called as download. Once you click on the download, once it is downloaded, it will show your Power BI desktop over here. Okay, in the search button. Once you click on Power BI desktop, it will be your interface will be open like this. Okay, this is the interface. It will be open like this. Now, if you want to go to the Power BI desktop, you need to click on this blank report. Okay. When you click on this blank report, a blank page of Power BI desktop will be opened in your system. So let us click on this blank report. Okay. See, once you click on blank report, the Power BI desktop, this is the user interface that will be appear. This we call it as Power BI desktop. This is the area where you can build the visuals, and this is the area where you can connect with the different data sources and you will make the transformation. So now we have downloaded the Microsoft like Power BI desktop through Microsoft system. And we have another option where you can download the Microsoft system like a Power BI desktop through web browser. Okay, Power BI desktop download. So you can, this is a straightforward like installing the app. like Power BI desktop download. So already it is a downloaded for me. So once you open it, you click on next and next. It will be, I will send you a video which will be of 2 minutes how to download the Power BI desktop to the web browser. But why I am not recommending you to download this Power BI desktop through web browser? Reason being, I request everyone to download through Microsoft Store system only. And you can ask me what is the difference you can download the Power BI desktop through Google or browser and Microsoft Store system. This is the one of the important certification question. When you download the Power BI desktop through the Microsoft Store system, that what we have done just now. So month by month, the Power BI, like Microsoft is introducing some new features into your Power BI desktop. Some new features are added month by month. You will get this Power BI tool is constantly innovating. When you look at the Excel, previously Excel, different types of the versions are came into the picture as the years are passing on. The Excel different versions, we can not the old newer version of Excel is coming. So that means that Excel, it is the versions are constantly innovating, like it is updating. In the similar sense, Power BI desktop also, Microsoft is introducing some new features or new updates by month by month. So when you download to the Microsoft Store system, suppose you are in the November, if any updates are taken place in the November, that automatically that new updates or new features will be reflected in your Power BI desktop. But if you download through Google, suppose in the November you have downloaded through the Google, like web browser, your Power BI desktop. Suppose Microsoft is introducing some new features into your Power BI desktop in the next December. So that may not be reflected when you download the Power BI desktop through the Google browser. But when you download through the Microsoft Store system, any new updates that take place in the Power BI desktop, which was introduced by the Microsoft, it will be captured here in your Power BI desktop. That's why I request everyone to download the Power BI desktop through Microsoft Store system. There also you can, what happened, you can say, sir, have I downloaded to the Power BI desktop to the November. So again, you need to uninstall. Again, the December, you need to every month by month you need to come. So it will time. It will be like a some manual tasks for him. So instead, if you download it at a once and you can happily you can use the Power BI desktop when you download to the Power BI desktop. Okay. Now this is a basic introduction on installation. Now when you look at this interface of Power BI desktop, so this Power BI desktop, what we have said, I think you have gone through my demo class, like we have more than 1.5 hour discussion. I have given the introduction about different models of the Power BI. The first class I have said, like first in 15 classes, we'll be discussing about the Power Query. Okay. Now in the Power BI desktop, the first part is Power Query. For 15 hours, we'll be discussing about Power Query. After completing this, we will go for Power Pivot. So I will write here so that in the notepad it will be easy for you. So the first part in the total course, we'll be discussing here 4 parts usually. The first part we'll be discussing with Power Query. Okay. After completing the Power Query, we'll be discussing with the Power Pivot, the data modeling concept. After completing this, we'll be discussing with Power View. And the last we'll be discussing with Power BI service. So as the time progresses, you will be learning about Power Pivot, Power View. But as for today's class, we'll be discussing with the Power Query. This Power Query is called as ETL software. ETL called software. What is meant by ETL software? E stands for extraction. That means with the help of the Power Query, we can extract the data. That means we can connect the data which is stored in your desktop, or which we suppose if you downloaded some data, Excel, you stored in the desktop. From that, you can connect the data into this Power BI desktop by using Power Query. T stands for transformation. Suppose E we call it as extraction. So we'll try to extract the data. That means you will get the data from the different sources. It may be Excel or the data might be stored in the case of some databases like SQL Server will connect to the databases. That V stands for extraction. Okay. Now T means the T, it stands for transformation. So we'll try to transform your data. Suppose your data may not be in an organized format. Suppose your data, something there's data, it should be transformed in order to build the visuals. So T stands for transformation. If you, by using some tools, by using some options, by using the options which are there in the Power Query, some menu based options, we will transform your data based upon our requirement. That we call it as transformation. Next we have load, L. L stands for load. Once your data is transformed well, we will try to load that data into Power BI desktop. So this is called as Power Query ETL software. So most of the time, this ETL software like Power Query, we will work with the menu-based option by using a single clicks. We'll be right. But here we will not write any code. Just by menu-based option, we will make the transformation. That is the beauty of the Power Query. We will use menu-based options, but the backend, it will write the code for you. Okay, this is a basic introduction of Power Query. So now we will discuss how we can extract the data, how you can transform the data, how you can load the data, how you can use the menu-based option. So how the backend, the code will be appearing, and how is the interface of the Power BI look. So those type of the information that we will be discussing today. So first, how to extract the data. Now, when you look at this Power BI desktop, once you open this, we have the four options over here. The first one, import data from Excel. What is meant by import from data from Excel? Suppose if your data is stored in the Excel file, suppose I'm coming to the desktop. Suppose this is the data which is stored in the Excel format. If I want to extract this data which is stored in my desktop into my Power BI desktop, you can use import data from Excel. This is the option. Okay. Second, it is showing import data from SQL Server. That means if your data is very small, which contains more than 1 lakh, less than 1 lakh records or something, if the data size is less, they will store it in the Excel. But sometimes the organizations which are doing the business on a large scale, like some e-commerce business like Flipkart, Amazon, it may be some DMart, any organizations where some lakhs of transactions are going day by day, they will try to store the data in the SQL Server. When you click here, from this is the area from you where you can connect the data. If the data is stored in the SQL Server database, from here you can connect to the SQL Server. And there is one option, paste data into a blank table. What is meant by paste data into a blank table? Suppose here, I will try to how to you can cut the SQL Server. By the time progress, I will explain you. So if you want to prepare some manual table for here, by click on here, sometimes you are not creating any data. You are not connecting to any Excel. You don't want to connect data from uh, SQL Server database. If you want to prepare some manual tables, so suppose now few people's like 4 or 5 people are attending my demo today. So I want to connect uh, to database over here. I want to list out the names over here. So I will mention the column name as name, and I will give as mobile number. Okay. So I want to create. So my name is, I connect it as name as Janardhan. Okay, yeah, Janardhan. I'm giving the mobile number. Mobile number is 8096676 423. Suppose 8096676 423. This is my mobile number. Suppose some of people like Vishwa, he is attending the demo. I'm giving a dummy number like this. So I'm attending like Pavani. So I'm giving some dummy number to them. Okay. So I will create. So here, instead of giving the column something, the name, actually here the name, you can read it as Sirisha or something. Let us create the number. In the column name also, we can give the column name. Column name as name, where it is a correct representation. So here, mobile number. The mobile number, you are giving some data. This data we have prepared manually. Just once you click on load, okay. So a table will be created over in this table. By the name table will be created. So that table name will be appeared over here. Okay, whatever you load any data will be appeared in the data section. Now, if you want to see the information, you can click on here, see, this is a mobile number and name. Once you see in the data section, you can able to see only the column names. But you may ask me, I want to see the information what is there in this table. So select anyone, go to this table view. Once you go to the table view, see the data which is present in this will be appeared. So that is one of the thing you can connect over here by using this Power BI desktop. Okay. Now let us go through the report view. There is another option called as first this the table we prepared manually. So as it is a simple data set. Now I told E stands for extraction, how I can connect the data to the Excel. In this Power BI desktop also, from here also you can connect to the data. Okay, there is one option called as get data. From this, you can connect to the different data sources. Once you click on this get data, it will show the information of what are the different data sources which are available. So through which we can connect. If your data is stored in Excel, or it may be in Power BI semantic model, that means by building the report, this will be studied in Power BI semantic model at the end of the class. Sometimes your data is stored in some dataverse. You can connect to the SQL server. You can connect to text. If the data is stored in text or CSV file, you can connect. You can connect to the web-based browser also. You can connect to the databases. So when you click on more, you can also connect to the different data sources like JSON, SharePoint folder, Oracle, if the data is stored in Oracle databases, MySQL databases. Not simply, there are many types of Amazon Redshift, Snowflake database, data marts, lakehouse. So these are called as data sources. And you can ask me what is the meaning of data source actually? The place where organizations are storing their data, we call it as data source. Suppose now I will store what is my data source. If people have attended the demo, I want to store your information. I will ask for your mobile number and I will store it in your one Excel file. So I will like suppose I will open some data file over here. I will open the new sheet. I will take your name. Okay. I will take your mobile number. I will take your email ID. So I will take what is your feedback on my demo. Then I will take whether you are interested to join. So I will roll one Google form. I will ask you to fill the data. So this will be the data source for me after giving the details. The place where organizations will store their business information, we call it as data source. Smaller organizations will store it in Excel. If the data size is huge, they will depend upon the databases. That databases may be SQL Server, Amazon, and the SQL Server databases, Oracle databases. Some will store in Dataverse. So those are called as databases. Now, from the get data, now let us learn how we can extract the data from the how you can get the data which is stored in your Excel file. So once Power BI desktop is there, like this is the area get data from the Excel. I want to connect to the Excel sheet. Let us go to the Excel workbook over here. Now I want to collect in the download section. This is the when I click on the desktop, these are the folders, Excel files that are stored over here. I can connect from here. Okay. So from the Excel, I want to connect to the employee department table. I want to connect these tables. Okay, this Excel sheet I want to connect. How I can connect? Just you click on this employee table, and at a time you can connect only one Excel file. Suppose, don't think if you click on the control button, if you click on Excel, you might think that you can load multiple Excel files at a time. So it is not practically possible. At a time, you can load only one Excel file into your Power BI desktop. For the time being, I am loading the employee department Excel file. I am selecting this, click on open. Once you click on open, this employee department table, which is there in my desktop, that means here where I stored in here, this is here employee department table, which is stored in my Excel. I want to load this data into my Power BI desktop. Okay, so I'm coming here, employee data. Just you need to go to desktop, click on open. Then what happens in the Excel? Once you open it, it will show that a sheet name, that Excel name, employee department.xls, and it will show this three: department, employee, and manager. That means this Excel sheet contains three sheets. When I go and open this employee department table, see, it has the employee sheet where they have stored the employees information. In the second stage, in the second sheet, they have stored the department information. And we have a third sheet where they have stored the manager information. This is the Excel sheet which is there in our desktop. But when you try to load that into Power BI desktop, you will find the Excel name and you will find these sheets in the form of the column name, these tables. This we call it as tables here. Okay, in the Excel where we show, that is called sheet. But when we try to load it into your Power BI desktop, we will call it as sheets. Here you can able to see the data over here. Okay, employee sheet. Now you can ask me, in this employee sheet department, I want to see the data. So once you click on this selection, it will, in the preview page, it will open. See, this is preview downloaded, and probably this here you can see the information. What is the information which is there in the department table? When you click on employee table, see employee table, we have employee number, employee name, job, manager. So this is up here. This is the same where you are seeing over here. See, in the Excel, employee name, hire date. This is the Excel file which is there in your Power BI desktop. In the same way, this preview will be seen the same manner. If you want to select the manager, the information the manager will be appear over here. Here also we have the manager information. Okay, this is how. Now, once you select all these files, you have selected it. Now you want to load the files which are then here in the Power BI desktop. You want to load that files into your Power BI desktop. Okay. Once you bring the files into your Power BI desktop only, you will make the transformation. You can create the relationship. You can try to build the visuals. You can share the report to the clients. Okay. First step is extraction. Once you select these Excel files, when you click on the load, then these Excel files will be loaded into your Power BI desktop. Let's click on the load. Okay. See, it is showing the symbol. That means your data is loading into your Power BI desktop. Okay. Your data is loaded. Now you can ask me how I can confirm whether my data is loaded into Power BI desktop or not. Then in order to see that, you need to come at the dead right end. Here you can find, see, department table, employee table, and manager table. Whatever the tables we have connected, it will be displayed in the data section. Okay, here in the data section, it will be displayed. And if you want to see the column names, what are the different columns which are present in the each table, click on this arrow. It will display what are the columns which are there in that particular table. If you want to see that employee table, it contains these columns. In the manager, we have only two columns. These are the two columns. And this table we have prepared just now manually. That means employee name and mobile, that name and mobile number. So this is how you can see the data which is loaded into the Power BI desktop will be displayed in the data section. And we are here it in the report view. Okay, this is the area in the Power BI desktop where you will build the visuals. Okay, where you will build the visuals, or where you can create the reports. Okay. Now we have created one table over department table, employee table we have loaded, manager table we have loaded, table name. So let us connect to the other, let us take another Excel file. So how you can collect, go to the Excel data, get data, go to the Excel. So here sometime not in this, I tried to load the table. You downloaded some Excel file through Google or somewhere. So it is stored in my Google. Some data is stored in my download section. Click on downloads. Here I have downloaded one sheet called sample superstore data. I want to connect that file. Just click on this file, open. Once you click on open, same thing. This is the Excel file sample.xls. It contains orders table. So data in the orders table it is showing. It contains people. The data in the people section is replaced. It contains return. The data which is present in the returns table is displayed. Once you select this data, once you click on load, your data will be loaded into the Power BI desktop. Slowly it is loading. Come to Power BI desktop. Whatever the data which is loaded, it will display. I said it is displayed in the data section. So what are the three tables you loaded recently? Orders table, people's table, returns table. If you want to see the columns, how we can see, just click on this. These are the columns which are there in the orders table. If you want to close it, click on the same icon. Peoples, we have these two columns. And the returns table, we have these two columns. Okay, this is how you can load the data into the Power BI desktop. Now, once you load the data, when you look at this section in the Power BI desktop, this area we call it as report view. Why we call it as a report view? Because this is the area where you are building the visuals. Suppose for the visual creation, we will go to these topics. The third part, first, first part what we discuss, we'll be discussing with the Power Query, ETL transformation. Second, data analysis, data modeling, Power Pivot. And third, Power View, we'll try to create the visuals. And fourth, here Power Pivot, we do data modeling. Okay, that we'll be discussing. Power View, here we can create the visuals from data. We'll be discussing here. Creating visuals from data. Power BI service means how to publish and share the report to the client. That we'll be discussing here in the Power BI service. Now we are here in the Power BI Power Query. So let us create some visual like how Power View. So because we are in the report view, right? How we can create the report, some build visuals. So suppose I'm in the orders table. In the orders table, I have so if you want to see the information, these are the columns. By looking at this, we are not able to see what type of information is there, right? So in order to see that, you need to go to here. This is table view. The table view, whatever the information present in the column, it will be represented, it will be displayed in the form of tabular format. This is called as tabular view. Once you click on the tabular view, in the tabular view, I want to see what is the information or the columns which are present in the orders table, right? So in order to see that information, click on any table. Click on any table. So this any column, I'm clicking on country. So whatever the data which is present over here, it is represented over here. This is called as tabular view. And third one, we call it as model view. Model view means whatever the tables we are loaded, all the tables will be represented, it will be displayed here. So we can see we have loaded department table, employment table, we have loaded C, and when you can drag here, we have loaded this table I have created manually. I have loaded orders table, people's table, returns table, what are the columns which are there will be displayed in the model view. And here this area we call it as data modeling. Here we try to establish the relationship between the tables based on common ID, but that is the not of point of discussion because we'll come to this data modeling section after completing the Power Query. Okay. Now I said we have what are the three views that you can see in the Power BI desktop. First view we call it as report view. The report view is the area. See, build visuals with your data. In this area you try to build. So this is the data section. It is there, right? From here you need to build the visuals. That is the representation. Let us try to build some basic visuals. However, we'll dedicate some 10 or 15 classes for creating the Power View, but let us understand how we can build a visuals over here in the report view. In the orders table, my requirement is I want this region information is there, and we have the sales. My requirement is I want how much each region is performing. I want to represent it in one some pie chart. Okay, that is my requirement. So in order to represent that in the pie chart, which chart I need to select? I need to come to this visualization. This is the area called as this is called visualization pane, where different visuals will be displayed over here. From here, you can select the visuals and you can create the visuals from the data which is available in the data section. Okay. Right now I'm selecting this pie chart. My requirement is I want to select the pie chart, select the pie chart over here. What is my analysis? I want to find region wise sales. Okay. So in order to find the region wise sale, you need to select the region. When you select the region, see the region is this, all the regions which are there, it is displayed here. It contains central, east, south, and west region. And my requirement is how much each region is performing. That sales I need. Okay. Come to sales column over here in the same orders table. You will come to the sales column. Just select the sales column. So this, when you expand this visual, it is giving, see, west region is performing this. So west region, it is this color, it is performing this much. And east region is performing this. South region, it is performing this. So this is how we can create the visual. Right now, we can also format this visual. There are plenty of options. We can come to this format visual and you can come to general. Okay. We can add lot of effects to it. Suppose if you change the background color, if you visual border, if you want to on, so a border will be on. So that is a different part we'll be discussing while discussing in the Power View. So that is not required. Only my intention is how you can create the visuals in the report. I want to display it over here. Now, I want to add another chart over here. There are different categories of products are there. Okay. Now in the second, I want to take a different chart. There are three types of categories of products are there in this orders table. So I want to analyze the sales of these three categories. So here I use the pie chart. Now I want to analyze that using one donut chart. Okay. That is my requirement. So in order to achieve this, I want to select the donut chart, right? Select come to empty space, click on an empty space, click on the donut chart. This is the donut chart. What is my requirement? Category wise sales I want, right? So you want the category wise, select the category. Once you select the category furniture categories are there, official supplies categories are there, technology categories are there. Okay. Now I want to analyze the sales of this category. So if you want to analyze the sales, you need to come to the sales section over here. So everybody, is my voice is clear to everyone, right? My voice is putting correct. Anyone please respond. Hello?
Yes, it is
Yeah,
clear.
it is clear. Yeah, okay. Yeah. If you have any problem, if you have any stuff, please inform so that we can do it. Yeah. Category wise sales. So these are the different regions and this each region is performing. Okay. This is how we can create the basic visuals I am saying, because this is a report view where you can build the reports I am saying, right? So at least to show, if you don't, because come in the coming classes in the Power View, we will discuss each and every visuals which are there. We'll try and each and how donut chart, how stock bar chart work, when to take which chart. That is dedicated hours, more than 15 hours of the classes we'll be discussing. But for the time being, as a first class, just remember, this is the report view where you can create the reports. Okay. Now there is a here. If you want to add the border, go to the format. You can add the border. So that we'll discuss later. Not a problem, because we are not discussing the visualization now. That is the third part. Now here also, when you look at this, there is one option called as slicers. Okay, in this also you can add. Come to empty space over here. Like let us add from here also. If you select the format painter, if you want to same, click on the format painter. Click on this. When you apply the format painter, same type of the border, it will be appear to here. So what the some people from the Excel background might understand this. Okay. Now there is an option. There are two visuals. Like I will drag over here. So there is one option, we call it as some slicer options will be there. This is slicer. You come to empty space, you click on slicer. Yeah, I'm making this slicer over here. Okay. Now we have analyzed some of sales by region wise, right? So if you want, my requirement is if I select west, only west region should appear, east region sales should be appear. That is my requirement. So I select the slicer over here, come to region. So this four you are up in central, it has information on central, east, south, and west. If I click on central region, see the data of only central 501, it is appearing over here. If I select on east, the data related east only appearing here. West, the data related to west. South, data related to west. South, west, the data related to the west region. Once you come here and click on the right button, clear selections, so your filters will be clear. So simple understanding is this is the area where you can create the reports, that is called as report view. Okay. Second, we have the table view where you can the data which what type of the data is stored in that particular table, it will be present in the table view. This we call it as model view, where the different tables are loaded. You can want to see at a single go, you can see, and you can try to establish the relationship. That relationship that you can be established at the next point of time. Okay. Now, and another thing is, this is the DAX that we will be discussing the latter. So I'm coming to this table. Now, my requirement is what is, we have learned how to extract the data, right? Extraction is completed. Now loading the data into the Power BI, we have seen, we have loaded the data. T, transformation. So we how to make the transform your data, that we will try to discuss in the first class as a Power Query. Okay, leave it this visuals aside. Now you have loaded this data. If you want to make some transformations on your data by using Power Query. So right now you are in Power BI desktop. If you want to make any transformation in your data, you need to go to here in the transform tab. This is the transform. Click on this transform data. Okay, once you click on this transform data, you will be navigated to one interface. Okay, one interface that is called as Power Query Editor. Power Query Editor. Now coming 10 or 15 classes, we'll be discussing about this Power Query Editor itself. Power Query Editor is a software in the Power BI. With the help of that, we can transform your data. We can try to transform your data by using this Power Query. Okay. When you look at the Power Query closely, see it has different, like whatever the tables we have loaded, see table that we have loaded, it is appearing here. Department table, everything you will be appearing here in the Power Query. So let us see how we can make some transformation, some basic transformation, how you do it in Power Query. When you closely observe this Power Query, first, in order to study any table, like first thing, you need to understand the interface of that particular, how the interface will be looking. Okay, that is the major requirement. First, you need to understand the interface of that. Okay, now let us go to the dead right end. Now, what I will do in the Power Query here, I have done into the Power Query, whatever the tables which are loaded here, it will be coming in this query section. So this we call it as query pane. When you look at the Power Query, first you need to understand, right? First we need to understand what are the different type of the panes it has, what is the Power Query interface it will be looking at. So those type of the information that you need to understand. So this coming to the people's table. When you look at the people's table over here, we have different orders. When you look at these columns, you see we have the column 1 and column 2. Column 1 contains person. Column 2 here contains the region. It contains the person information. It contains the region information. Okay. But when you look at the when you load this data into the Power Query, so all these are the text function. Power Query failed to distinguish this person as an header. This region has a column header because Power Query don't know, because they thought person, Anna, all these are text, right? This is stored in the text. They thought all these are a similar type of data. That's why it has failed to assign the headers to it. Column headers are not assigned. By looking at you, you can able to see, yes, person and the region, these are the header, they should be coming over here, and the name should be coming from the first row. You know that, but Power Query don't know, because all it has thought it as the functions it has started as a text function. So it has failed to assign the headers to it. Okay. Now you want to bring these headers into the first column. How you can bring the headers into the first column? You can click on use first row as an headers coming here. When you click on use first row as an headers, Anna, which is there over here, it came, see the person and the region. These are the columns which are went to the column headers, and the names and regions are appearing. So this is one of the transformation that you can make it. Okay, that this is one of the basic transformation that you can make. Okay, when you look at when you want to look at this particular data in the returns table. In the returns table also, when you take it in the returns table, here also column 1 and column 2 we have, but it has a return table and it has orders table. Okay, this has a table. But returns and orders table, these are the different type. These returns should be come as a column header. Order ID should be come as a column header. And yes, and this should be coming from the row 1 issue distinguish. But here returns, it is a test data, order ID is also test data. This is a return is a text and this is also test. Power Query has failed to distinguish this data. Okay, it has failed to give the headers. Column headers are not designated perfectly. So it is a duty of your Power BI developer. You come to the home section, use first row as headers. If you click on this, see the first row as an header, that it came into a order ID and returns table. It has came into here. So the headers are perfectly assigned. Okay, this is how you can headers. But when you come to the orders table, when you look at each order ID, it has assigned perfectly, because you can ask me why these headers are perfectly assigned. Because row ID, row is a text, and all these numbers are coming as a numbers. So Power Query distinguishes. Yes, initially it has a text data, and from the second it is having the numbers. So it has thought it might be a header. That's why it has given the header and remaining this as a normal one. When you look at the order ID, see order ID is a text one. Here it has text and number, and all the columns below that are following the same pattern. Now Power Query has thought, yes, this data set from this, the data might be different, a different one, and order ID this, and it is tried to assign it as an header. Okay. Now go to the order date. Order date, it is a text, right? Order, it is a number, it is a text, alphabetical. And immediately after this, it is having date, month, and year format. Okay, date, month, year form. That means all the dates are represented over here. So that's why Power Query has given the assign the header name to it. Same with the ship date. Okay, this is how, in case if your Power Query has not fails to give the headers perfectly, it is the duty of Power BI developer to look at this data and try to uh, assign the headers perfectly. Okay, this is we call it as Power Query, where you can make some basic transformations on your data. So if you have made some basic transformations, so once you click on this, close and apply, okay? Once you click, so if you made some transformation, the people's table, you have assigned some headers like user first row as headers. In the returns table also, you has made headers which was there, you have made it into your hidden perfectly. If you want to go back, if you want to save these changes, and again, if you want to go back to Power BI desktop, you need to click on this, close and apply. Once you click on close and apply, now you will be going to this normal Power BI desktop which we have installed initially. Okay, this is how we need to go to the data. First Power BI desktop. So once from Power BI desktop, in the Power BI desktop, we have different report view, table view, data modeling view. Okay, we have the filters pane. Suppose if you apply any filters on it, try to apply. So and after in the while discussing with the Power Query, I will Power View, I will discuss filter concept, but right now it is not required. This is a filter pane we have. This we call it as visualization pane, where different charts are available. From this chart, by using this data, you can build the visuals. Okay, this we call it as data section. In the data section means whatever the data which we will be stored into the Power BI desktop will be reflected over here. This section we call it as data section, which contains the tables. And when you expand this table, you will show what are the different type of the columns which are there. So this is the general interface. So if you want to go to the transform, if you, this is the Power BI desktop. In order to make the transformation, if you want to transform the data, where you need to go? You need to go to the transform data. Once you go to the transform data, you will be going into the Power Query. Okay, this is called as Power Query. In the coming classes, we will be discussing about the Power Query itself. Okay, now it is very important. This is the Power Query. What is meant by Power Query? Where you can transform your data. So it is the first duty to understand. You need to understand the interface perfectly. So first interface we call it as whatever this table, this phase, we call it as query pane. Power Query. When you want to understand the interface of Power Query, this area we call it as query pane. Okay, this area we call it as query pane. I will try to write over here. Power Query interface. Query interface. First one, it will has query pane. Okay. What is meant by query pane? Queries are nothing but here we are saying tables are called as queries in the Power Query editor. The tables which are loaded, table, department table, employment table, those who are calling as queries. Queries or tables are nothing but both are same. After that, in the bracket, we'll have the number. That means 7 queries or 7 tables that we have loaded. This area we call it as query pane. When you look at this center, we look at the department, we have the data. So we will find, if you look on the orders manager, it will display the data which is present in this particular table. So this central area, we call it as data pane because it is reflecting the data. And it is also called as results pane. It is showing the results or data results it is showing. So this middle area, we call it as second data pane. Okay, what is this is called as data pane. Some people are calling it as results pane. Results pane. Okay, that is. Now, when you look at the third one, this is when you look at this upper data, there are different menu based options that are present in the Power Query editor. This is a Power Query editor. We have different options. We have home tab, different menu based option. When you look at the transform tab, we have different menu based option. We have add column tab. We have different menu based option. In the view also, we have different menu based option. So like in the Excel, when you look at the Excel also, we have different menu based option. Through that, you will play with the data. You will make some transformation in the Excel. In the same way, in the Power Query also, we have different tabs: home tab, transform tab, add column tab, view tab. Each and every tab will have different menu based option. With the help of this menu based option, we will try to transform your data. We will try to transform your data in the Power Query. So this area where you find this menu based options, we call it as this area we call it as Power Query ribbon, or we call it as ribbon pane. Okay. So the third one, what is the interface? We call it as ribbon pane, and some people are calling it as Power Query ribbon. Power Query ribbon or ribbon, one and the same. So in the coming classes of the Power Query, we'll go to the Home tab and we'll touch each and every menu based option and how this menu based options are useful for transforming your data. We'll go to the Home tab step by step. We'll go and we'll try to analyze that particular data. So we have discussed close and apply. Suppose if you want to see 3 or 4, you can directly come here and you can see. Yes, second option, it is showing as new source. What is meant by new source? If you want to click on any from Power BI desktop, you have connected to the data, right? From Power Query editor also you can connect to the new source file. So let us try to, from Power Query editor also, you can connect, you can get the data which is stored in your desktop. Let us try here from the new source. I want to connect to the Excel file. Go to the Excel file. So I want to connect which file, like some other files in the desktop. I want to connect to this data. Okay, there is a data Excel store. And click on open. So once you click on that, directly the data sheet, it has 3 sheets. Sheet 1, some data is there. Sheet 2, we have some data. Sheet 3, we have some data. Just click on OK. Once you click on OK, see directly from the data table, sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3. These are 3 different tables. These are 3 different, right? So 3 different sheets are directly loaded into your Power BI Power Query. So from Power BI desktop also you can connect to the data. From Power Query editor also you can able to connect to the data. So here we call it as queries. Queries are nothing but the tables. These are 10 in number. That means you are connected to the 10 queries or 10 tables that will be represented. What we call it as query pane. Here the results are represent what we call it as data pane or results pane, where we have different menu based options. This menu based option, this area we call it as Power Query ribbon, or we call it as ribbon pane. Now, when you come to the orders table, suppose if you make any transformations in this steps, like if you make any transformation in your data, that transformations will be recorded at one place in the Power Query. So this is called as applied steps. Applied steps is an area. If you make any transformation in the Power Query, all the steps will be captured here in the applied steps. Suppose if you want to see. So I will give some basic example. As a first class, I will give one basic example for you. I'm coming to the order date. Let us come to the order step. What is my requirement? This order date, it contains day, month, and year name. My requirement is, out of these 3, I want to extract only year from it. That is my requirement. I want to extract the year. So go in the transform tab. There is one menu based option called as date. Okay. Come to the date over here. Come to year. In the year, select the year. Once you select the year, out of day, month, and year, only the year will be extracted. They will be represented in the order state. Let us select here. See, order state. Okay. So we have made one transformation. Whatever the transformation we make in the Power Query will be recorded here in the applied set. See, extracted year. So it has extracted the year, right? So if you want to keep more clear, click on this right button. You need to rename that step. Extracted year from 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 where we have extracted, from order date. So you have to mention that order date. This step is created. Every transformation you make, that transformation will be recorded here in the applied steps. So after the applied step will make and try to rename it. Otherwise, it will default, it will create the name. But if you give some meaningful name to it, if after that, if any some other will come over here, if you want to click it, they will see, yes, the step is you have extracted the year from the order. It will be easy for them to understand. Okay, that is one of the step over here. Now, the same step, if I want another basic transformation for the time, because I want to make you understand, if you make any transformation, you can ask me, sir, where the transformations are recorded? To answer the question, every transformation will be recorded in the apply step. I will make another basic transformation over here. What is my requirement is, here second class, all these letters are here, it is in uppercase. I want to convert all these letters into uppercase. Okay, that is my requirement. So to uppercase, I want to change the format of this letter. That is my requirement. In order to change the format, select that column, go to format section, select you want to convert into lowercase or uppercase or anything. I want to convert total into uppercase. See, all the letters are connected into uppercase. So this is one transformation. See, those transformation, you need to see that the transformation is recorded here, uppercase the test. Try to rename this. How to rename? Just develop the habit, uppercase text of ship mode. So in the ship mode, you have converted the text into upper. So these are the steps which will be recorded in the Power Query. This the steps we call it as, this pane we call it as, where the applied steps, the steps are recorded, we call it as query setting pane. This is called as query setting pane. Okay. Now here also in the customer name, it has there. In the customer name, I come to format, I will totally select into lowercase. So see all into lowercase. Lowercase text it has happened. Lowercase text, again you need to rename it. Okay. Rename of customer name. Right. This is how we need to change it. Okay. This pane we call it as query settings pane. Okay. The third step the third pane we call it as query pane over data pane, ribbon pane, and fourth one we call it as query setting pane. Now fifth we have another pane we call it as, okay, another pane we call it as formula pane. Formula pane. So what is meant by formula pane? For everything that you are making the transformation, see, it is writing the, for you are using the menu based option, but backend for every transformation it is writing some code. If I extracted the year, so it is from order date. If I so some formula is writing at the backend. For uppercase test, it is writing some formula. I will explain you how to interpret this formula. But think, you are making menu based option, but backend some code is written by itself in the Power Query. The area where the codes are represented, where the formula is represented, this pane we call it as formula pane. Okay, fifth one, this is called as formula pane. And for every menu based option you are performing, backend it is writing code by itself. That code which is used in the Power Query, we call it as meshup language. They will ask in the interview, meshup language, or some people they are calling it as M code. Instead of this, they are calling it as M code or M code language. So, or some people as Power Query language, meshup language, or M code. For every menu based option, it is writing the code at the backend. That code is called as meshup language. Okay. Now, my requirement is I'm in the home tab. We have made some transformation, extracted here, uppercase, shipcase, and I will try to make another transformations also. Suppose here, my requirement, just for the time being class, don't worry. In the next class, we'll go to the home tab, we'll study all options. We'll come to the transform tab. We'll study each and every menu based option. But what I'm saying, you are making transformation. Those transformations are recorded where in order to show that I am explaining you. And you can ask me a simple question, sir, I have recorded the transformation. I want to go one step back, or I want to delete the transformation. So how I can delete the transformation? So in the previous, we have converted into customer name lower, right? The last step. So if you want to go one step back, just you click on this cross mark. So the customer name, it has become normal. So by clicking at the cross button, you can go to one step back. In the same way, uppercase to ship mode, you go one step back. So this is way, if you want to once go one step back, you will come over here. Okay. Now I will make you to understand some basic transformation over here. Like what is my requirement is. Okay. My requirement is I want to merge the data into two different columns, which is uh, yeah, I will give you one basic. See, with this a simple example, it will helpful for you. This is country column. This is city column. This is state column. This is the region column. So I will try to, after country, I want the region. Okay. So I will select this. Just you drag it, drag left side. That means I'm moving the column. After country, region. After the region, I want state. Select the state, drag that left side. Country, state, region, country, region, state, city. These columns are four different columns. Country in separate column, region in separate column, state in separate column, city in separate column. Now, my requirement is if somebody asks you, I don't want country, region, state separate column. I want the information in four different, the data which is present in the four different column. It should be represented. It should be represented only on single column. I want to merge the data in four different column into a single column. That is my requirement. Okay. If that requirement is come, how you can perform that operation? Okay. How you can perform. So in order to do that, first you need to select what the columns you want to merge. So click the control button in your laptop. Just click on country, select the country, region, state, city. Four columns we have selected. Now you want to merge this four data into single cell, right? In single column. So in the transform tab, there is an option called merge columns. Okay. Click on merge columns. It will ask you a separator. What is meant by separator? In column, you will get the data. After country, do you want any comma or hyphen or full stop between each column if you want anything? So for my requirement, I want some hyphen or something. So I want some comma. Okay, comma. Then it is asking you that it will give the name as new column name. It is optional. It will give as a one column will be created. If you click on OK, that column name will be merged. Name will be merged. So if you want to change that column, so I can change. I can change as merged columns. I will give the name. So let's click on OK. Right now we are in the transform tab. I have selected all these four. I am trying to merge the data which is present in four different columns into single column. Let's click on OK. See, a column is created by merged column name where country information, region information, country information, state information, city information, all these informations are stored in a single column. So that is called as merged columns. When the data is present in many different columns, if you want to bring the data into a single column, we will use an option called as merged column options in the Power Query, and we'll try to merge those options. So every operation you do it in the Power Query, it will be recorded where? In the merged column. See, it will be recorded here. See, reordered columns. That means we have mentioned the state column, it is the different. You have merged, you have set the order, right? That also it has recorded. You have extracted year from order date in the first transformation, that is also recorded. Now you can ask me, I want to see all this information in a single go, and I want to analyze how it is writing a code at the back end for this information. If you go for the formula section, you want to see only extracted year formula you are seeing. Reorder, for that you are seeing. Okay. But if you want to see all this in a single go, you can come to the home tab. There is an option called as advanced editor. In the home tab, when you go to the advanced editor, I am clicking on this advanced editor. It will provide you the information starting from the first to every transformation will be recorded, and what is the formula which is it is writing at the back end. What is this code? We call it as mashup language or M code, right? So those code will also will be represented here. Applied steps will record only steps, but advanced editor you can see how the steps are executing, and each and every step right from the basic. If you make some 20 or 30 transformations, if you want to see how the transformations are taken place, how the formula is executing, how the code is written at the back end, you can come to the advanced editor and you can check it. So in the coming class, I will take 10 to 15 minutes how to read this code, how actually one step go back and how these codes are executing. It is not mandated to learn this code, but don't if you don't know to write this code, it's not a problem because Power Query is writing code for you. But I will explain you how to interpret this code in the coming classes, how to analyze this code. That information will be required. No need to mug up these codes. Okay, this is called as advanced editor option. So these are the different. First, if you learned the Power Query, it is mandatory that you need to look at the what are the different panes are there. This is query pane, this is formula pane, this is results pane, this is query setting pane, this is the Power Query ribbon. Okay, now my requirement is let us make some basic transformations in the Power Query, and let us see how these transformations are taking place. And in the Power Query itself, we have the different data sets are present. Like there is an important concept to call it as data types. Okay, how you want to extract the different data types and how the data which is stored in the data types, that you need to understand. Okay, now you see you have connected to the different tables, right? This is the table we prepared manually. This employee department tables are coming from one employee department manager. Orders people are coming from one Excel. Sheet 2, 3 is coming from Excel. Now your requirement is you have connected recently. We can able to know that which tables are coming from which source. But after some time you work on multiple sheet. By looking at the table, we cannot say, right? This department employee, if I ask you employee department table is coming from where, by looking at that information, you cannot interpret. But how you can see, how you can say how your data is coming from the different tables, how you can how your data is coming from which data, your data is coming from which data source. If you want to see in a single go, how you can do that? Just there is an option called as view option. Once you go to the view options, in the view options, we call it as query dependencies option is there. Okay. When you click on this query dependencies, it will show you once if you zoom it, I will try to zoom it. Okay. This is the maximum that I can zoom for you. That is back screen. Okay. Yeah. See, it is clear, right? This table, we have prepared it manually. It is not from any data source. When you look at this, it is not coming from any data source. There is no connection. Yes, somebody is speaking. Like, is my voice is audible to everyone? Hello, I'm clear.
Yes, yes, clear.
Oh, okay, yeah, done. Thank you. See this table. This is the integer table data we directly we have created from the Power BI desktop. Suppose I have given that name, mobile number. So there is no connection is given to here. But when you look at this department table, employee table, manager table, these three tables are coming from, when you keep the cursor over here, see, it is coming from the one file. See, Janardhan Patipaka, which is desktop. In the desktop, I've created employee department table. When you come here, see in the desktop also, when I come here in the desktop, we have the employee department table. From here it is coming. That information it is stored here. When you hover over the cursor over here, or when you click on here, then it will give see information. See in the user Janardhan desktop it is coming from. These three tables are coming from there. In the same way, when clicking the cursor on this orders table, people's table, returns table, these three tables are coming from these sources. What is my source over here? When you keep the cursor over on here, like it will show them. See, from downloads. It is coming from downloads. Behind the downloads, we have a sample superstore Excel. It is stored. From that, this orders, people, returns table are coming. So if you want to see from which data sources it is coming, and again, we have this data sources. When I select this, sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3, it is coming from the desktop. We have data. When I go to the desktop, we have this data. See, I am coming to desktop. In this, we have the data. From this, it is the data source. It is coming. This sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3 is coming. So this is query. Queries are nothing but tables, right? Table dependencies. These three tables are dependent on the source file it is coming from. These three tables are dependent on this. It is coming from this Excel. And these three sheets or tables are coming from here. So the dependency of this table, from which source they have dependent, you can get it from query dependencies. And you can ask me why a connection is not created in the table, because in the Power BI itself, by using the enter data, you have prepared this manual table manually. That's why it has not established any connection for it. It has not established any connection for it. That's why it is not showing anything. Okay, that is called as query dependencies. Now, again, when you perform this different, see if you want to see any data that you can uh, connect to this data over here, right? Now let us come to the home section also. In the home section, we have an option called as new source. What is meant by new source? From here, you can connect to the new data I have said. Okay. There is an option called as recent sources. Now you can ask me, sir, I want to connect to the, what are the different type of the sources recently I have connected to the which Excel file. I want to know that information. So in order to know that information, you can come to the recent sources. So recently we are connected to the data, which is stored here in the desktop, this data. We are connected to this file. Okay. In the recent sources also, we are connected to sample superstore data, which is stored in the download section. Employee department table, which is stored in the desktop. And we have connected to these three different tables from here. So what are the recent sources we have connected? It will displayed here. And previously we are working on giving other classes, have connected to the this data sources as well. So that data sources are represented over here. Okay, right. Enter data. So if you want to prepare any manual tables, like we prepare this table, right, by using enter data. So that will be represented over here. Okay. Now, there is an option called as data source setting, which is very important. Data source setting. So what is meant by data source setting actually? The data source setting means, suppose I'm clicking on data source setting over here. Okay. So I connected to the this data table, we have data Excel we have connected. So what are the different data sources we have connected? If you want to see that path, if you want to see that path, you can go to the data source setting. Yes, this data, it is coming from Janardhan Pad desktop. It is coming from employee department. It is coming from desktop. Sample superstore data, it is coming from where? Downloads. Okay, if you want to see that path. Now what happens here is, what happens if I change the path of my file? what happens? Suppose this data section, it is coming this data. So this sheet 1, sheet 2 coming from the data which is stored in this desktop. Now what I will do, I will try to change the source of this data. That means I want to change the path. I want to replace that from the desktop to other place. Now, when I do that, what are the changes that I will find here? So these three are coming from, we have connected these three from data section. Now what I will do, I will select this data which is coming over here. Where is the data section that I have found over here? The data just now I have found. Yeah, here. Okay. This file I have connected. I am connecting this file. I'm just copying this. Okay, copying this file. Now I'm going to downloads. See in my downloads, I'm copying it. Where? In the downloads here. But while connecting, I have connected the data source. I have connected through this here from data. Here I have connected desktop. Now I will try to delete this file. I will try to delete this file. While connecting, I have connected from desktop. Now I am deleting this file. So data file, it is open. It is asking to me close this data. It is, as it is open, it is not picking up. So let us close the file. Supply department I'm closing. Data file also. Do you want to change the changes? No. Okay. Now I will try to delete this file. Show more options. I'm trying to delete this file. See, in the desktop, the file is no more appearing here. Now what happened? I will go to this data section. So after that, I will come to this report. After I will try to refresh my report. Okay, refresh up. When I try to refresh my report, because how I changed the data path, right? I have refreshed the report. So it is showing the errors. Why it is showing the errors? While connecting, we have connected this tree sheet through the data section, which is there in the desktop. But now I have deleted the file from this location. So Power BI Desktop failed to identify that data in the desktop. That's why it has thrown errors, and you got the error message here. Okay. Yeah, you got the error message here. Now, what is the solution to fix it? I will go to the data source setting. Here, this data, I will try to change. Here, desktop data is there, but there is no data in the desktop. That's why you are getting error. Now, I will try to change. I have selected this. I will try to change the source. Now, how I can change the source? You can come to the browse. Click on the browse. Where I have deleted the data section, I kept in somewhere, right? I have kept in the downloads. So go for downloads. In the downloads, I have deleted from the desktop and I kept in the download. Just select the data from here and click on open. Okay. Now the data source has changed from the desktop to downloads. Okay, you have changed, established the new path over here. Select OK. Now you close it. See the tables. Now the tables are appearing. Now previously why it is not appearing, now why it is appearing here before. In the real time, if you work on some project, by mistakenly you have changed the path, don't worry, come to the data source setting and give where you changed the path, where you replaced your path. If you fail to change your data source, if you don't want change to relocate, mention the new path, you will get the errors. Previously, there was in the desktop. I have deleted from the desktop, I got the errors.
but I have deleted that file from the desktop. I have stored in the downloads. I have went to the data source setting and have given the new source to that in the sample superstore data, the download data. I have established, I have changed the source by using the browsing from the browser. Have established this downloads. Have stored it from the data downloads. I click on open. Then my data files are appearing over here. So that is the importance of data source setting. Okay. Now, another important function here in the same way, there is called as manage parameters. This manage parameter is very important concept that will take 1 hour to complete. So right now I am not touching on it, manage parameters, because we have exclusive class of 1 hour on manage parameters. In the home tab also, when you closely observe over here, we have refresh preview option. In the refresh preview, we have refresh preview, we have refresh all. What exactly the difference between refresh preview and refresh all? The difference here is if you make any some changes in the data, suppose come to the orders table, if you make some any small changes, okay, suppose we mean in the ship date, I'm coming to the ship date, okay, I'm going to the transform tab. From this I want to extract the month name, okay, come to date, small, you come to month, it is asking month name of the month, so only month name I want to extract. So in that name, this is falling under November. Okay, that is one of the transformation. Any basic transformation I'm looking. Uh, so in the same way also, like this is a merged columns we had there, right? Now my requirement is I go in a reverse way. Previously, these three data is present in the three different columns. I try to merge the data into single column. But my requirement is the data is present from the different columns. It is there in a single column. I want to split that data into different columns. Now I am splitting, merging opposite is splitting. I want to split the data. So select this, come to split column. It will ask split by delimiter. So I'm selecting by delimiter. What is the delimiter it is used? The delimiter is comma. Okay. So it is asking you split each occurrence of the delimiter. What is meant by each occurrence of the delimiter? Wherever the comma is there, there the data should split. Here the data splits it. Here comma is a delimiter. Here the data should split. Here we have the comma. Here the data should split. At every point you need to split the data where the delimiter is appearing. Okay. Now you click on OK. See now Henderson, that means UK, United States, South and Kentucky, where these four data, this data, four different columns was there in the single column. Now it has split into different column. So merge columns and split columns will act opposite to each other. If you want to go for merge column, you can convert the data in the four different column into single column. If you want to split the data which is present in the single column into four different columns or five different columns, you can go for the split column. Whatever the changes that you make in this particular, all these steps will be recorded in the applied step. If you want to see all the steps which are happened, what formula is executed, what a mashup language is executed, if you want to see that information, you can go to the advanced editor and you can check it. Okay. Now, what is my requirement is like this, we are making the different transformations. Okay. Now each step, now you can say, I want to change this transformation has recorded. We have made some transformations. We have loaded this transformations. If you want to save the transformation, you can go to click and close and apply. Those transformation will be stored and you can go to the Power BI desktop. That what we have clearly understood. Now my requirement is I want to understand what is the difference between refresh preview and refresh all. Suppose I selected, I am in this particular table. Instead of I'm trying to click on refresh all. That see here it is happening me. That means when you click on refresh all the tables will be get refreshed. Whatever the data which is there in this query section, whatever the tables which are there, even the data is updated or not updated, all the data will be refreshed when you go for refresh purview. When you go for refresh okay, refresh all the data will be refreshed. But my requirement is while working on the real-time data, suppose you are connecting with the 10 different tables. So every time the data will be not change in all the tables. So suppose you connect to the 10 different tables, think that only in the orders table, the data is changing. For example, for our understanding, think only in the orders table, the data is changing. But employee, department table, orders, returns table, they are constant. Think in that way. So the tables in which the data will change frequently, those table we call it as dynamic tables. So there generally there will be two types of the tables. Let us write over here to make you understand. Some people from the new, they can understand the tables. The tables will be two types of the table. The first table we call it as static tables. Okay. Second we call it as dynamic tables. What is meant by static tables? The data will not be changed or updated frequently. Or we can say that data inside these tables will remain constant. Those tables, if the data inside the tables will remain constant or it will not frequently update. So for 1 month, for 3 months, it will update. Those tables, we call it as static tables. What is meant by dynamic? The name itself, dynamic table, means data in these tables will be updated frequently. These tables, we call it as dynamic tables. When you look at, I am saying for our understanding, think this orders table as a dynamic table because we have the sales column, right? So for every order for different times, some of the people will make the orders. So they will, for order date will be created and they will ship the product. The ship date will be appeared over here. And how much each product is making sales, that sales will be captured here. How many quantities they are added, it will be captured here. How much discount they are giving, it will be captured over here. How much profit they are making. So these values are looking somewhat dynamic. We call it as dynamic table. So when you click on refresh all the static and dynamic table, whatever the tables you have loaded, all the tables will be get refreshed. But my requirement is I don't want to update the static tables. I am clear as a Power BI developer, I'm working on the reports. Only data in this particular table is changing. So instead of wasting my time in refreshing all the reports, I will click on refresh preview. If you select the particular table and if you click on refresh preview, only the table which has selected that will be refreshed and the data in the remaining table will not be refreshed. And you can ask me sir simple questions, refresh all, refresh preview. We have seen the refresh time was very less and both there is, I think there is no change in the data. There is no change in the refresh time. See, we have connected to the few tables where the data size is not used. These are simple data, right? Peoples, we have simple. When I go to the people's table, they have simple data set like 4 or 5 rows and 2 columns. But in the real time, you will connect to hundreds of the tables where the data contains some millions of rows. If you click on refresh all, it will go and scan all the records in the table. It will check each and every query and the table, and it will refresh everything. To perform that operation, your Power Query will take some time to refresh all your tables. And unnecessary, you are building the burden on your Power Query. And each and every time, if you click on refresh all, it will go to table, it will refresh, it will employ table, it will hundreds of table. So the refresh time will be increased. So that is not a good practice, right? Suppose if you are watching on any TV like Amazon Prime, or if you're watching on Netflix, or if you're watching some video on YouTube, if it will buffer for fraction of 20 or 30 seconds, it will create a lot of irritation to you. But when you share this report to the client, as a Power BI developer, he's paying some money to the company. If you give the tables, like if you click on refresh also, in the same time, this is also used for in the Power View also use the refresh. If you click on refresh, when you click on that refresh, if it is refreshing lot of time and loading time, refreshing time is more, so that is not a good practice. So if you are enough confident that these particular three tables are changing, try to go to the tables and try to click on the refresh preview. So only the selected table will be refreshed, and it will be save lot of time, and it will decrease your refresh time. So that is called refresh preview. Now, this is recent data source setting. Manage parameters I will discuss later. Refresh preview, refresh all we have discussed. Now coming to the properties, what is meant by property? Just it give the information. So this is the orders, it will give the table name. Okay. And if you want to give any description to that, so if you want to store this order table contains the information on sales, like this, it contains info on sales, profit, discount, and it is a dynamic table. If you want to make any notes and click on OK, it will be stored. Okay. And there is another table, another option called enable loop, include report refresh, that I will explain you in the coming classes, because let us grow step by step, like right. This is how, like, query property is nothing but it will give the table name, and if you want to describe any table, what type of information, so whether it is a dynamic table or static table, any information, while working on the real time, you can directly click on it and you can store it. That's not a problem. Now after that properties, we will go to the advanced editor. We have already discussed in the advanced editor, right? Whatever the transformation we make here, see split column, extractor column, it has there, that will be recorded over here if you want to see all the split column option. So in the coming class, we try to interpret that this data. So it is not this code, we call it as mesh up language. Okay, right. Now there is an option called as manage column. What is meant by manage columns here? So particularly, if this is the orders table, suppose this is a sheet one, I want to delete this sheet. Okay, I come to manage over here. Let us click on delete. So that sheet will be deleted. Click on delete it. Now it will throw you a warning. Are you sure you want to delete the sheet? Yes. Okay, that sheet one got deleted over here. Like you can delete the sheet. Okay, manage. Now there is an option called as in the manage. We have duplicate, we have reference. This is very important. Okay, this is very, very important. From each table, if I'm selecting the orders table, okay, I'm selecting suppose department table, a very simple table, I will make employee table. Yeah, I'm selecting this employee table. Okay, I'm coming here, this employee table, I want to create one duplicate table of employee table. In order to create a duplicate table of employee table, I will click on duplicate. So already with the EMP name, we have another table. That's why a new table is created. It will give us employee table 2 because already one table is there. We have duplicated, right? So let us rename the table. Okay, I want to rename this table as employee duplicate. Okay, employee duplicate. Now I'm coming to this employee table. Same, this is the employee table. Come to manage column, reference. You create another table called as from the employee table only, you create a reference table of employee table. So if you want, I will explain you what is duplicate table and reference table. But now understand employee table. For this, I want to create one another table called reference. Again, with the employee table, we have one name employee. That's why it created employee 2. We have created a reference table now. That's why you need to change, rename it, and we call it as a reference table. Reference, employee reference. What is this? Employee table. This is the first table, right? Name it as, I'm remaining as, this is the first table. I will try to rename this as employee source. Why I'm calling source? From this employee source only, a duplicate table is created. For this employee source table only, a reference table is created. So this is the major source table. For creating these two tables, one is duplicate table, one is the reference table. Now, I want to make some changes. So here in the source table, I will make some transformation. What are the transformation I want to make? So I want to delete this employee number, employee name, job. I want to delete this first 3 columns. In order to delete these columns, first these 3 columns I have selected. Okay. And I want to select this. I want to delete this. I will click on right button over here. Click on remove columns. Once you click on remove column, the first 3 columns which I have selected, those will be removed. Okay, that is one transformation. And any transformation that you make, it will be recorded in the removed columns. It is clear. In the applied steps, it is recorded. Now I will go from, this is the source table. Now I will go to the duplicate table. Whether the 3 columns that have deleted, because from this source table only I have created the duplicate table. Now I will try to see whether these changes are also taken place in the duplicate table. Let us see that. But see, employee table, employee name, job, these 3 are present over here. What does that indicate? If you make any changes in the source table, those changes will not be replicated. Those changes will not be captured in the duplicate table, and the duplicate table will serve as an independent table. Clear? Now I will go to the reference table. When you look at the reference table, see the first 3 columns are deleted. When you go to the source table, is starting from where? When it is manager. So we have deleted first 3 columns. When you go to the reference table, yes, those 3 columns are deleted. That means, as name indicates, employee reference, this table has referenced from the source table. That's why we call it as reference table. We call reference table as dependent table, because any changes you make in the source table will be reflected, will also takes place in the reference table. That's why this reference table is a dependent table on the source table. But if you make any changes in the source table, those changes will be not reflected in the duplicate table, and the duplicate table is not dependent on the source table. That's why the duplicate table, we call it as independent table. Now you can ask me, sir, what is the importance why we are creating the duplicate table? Reason being, suppose if you work on some file, some Excel file, you made some 10 transformation. And the next day you come and you will make 5 transformations. So all the transformation will go and adding on that. But your requirement is, today I made the some transformations, and well, I will come to the tomorrow. I don't want to continue from the transformation. I want to create a duplicate copy for myself, and I want to continue the transformation in my source file. But I want to keep a record. What are the real transformation I have made till now? I want to create the duplicate. Then in that case, you are happy, you will create the duplicate copy of that, and you will make the transformation in your source file. Whatever the recent new transformation you are making, it will capture in the source file. Duplicate copy, that will not capture. So yesterday what the changes you have made, up to that you who want to create a duplicate copy of that, in that case this duplicate table will be helpful for you. Now I will ask a simple question, a logical question for you. Reference table is a dependent table on source table. Okay. Now I will make some changes in the reference table. Okay. Salary. I will try to remove this column. This reference table is referenced from the source file. Which column I have deleted? Salary column. So I have made the changes in the reference column. Now you answer my simple question, whether these changes will be reflected in my source file or not. That is my
No.
question.
No.
Yeah, that's fantastic. It will not, because the reference table is dependent on the source file, but source file is not dependent on the reference file. Whatever you make the changes in the reference file, it will not capture in the source file, because this whatever you make the changes in the source file, it will be captured in the refer file. It is in the vice versa. Okay. See, if in the reference column you have created the salary sum, in the reference table you see here we have deleted the salary. Okay, but when you go to the source file over here, the salary column is as it is. Okay, now you want to see, and this reference table is a dependent table. It doesn't mean that if you make any changes in the reference table, that will be captured. Again, if you go to the query dependencies also, you will find the arrow pointing from the source table to the reference table. That means you will find the arrow from here to like this. That means any changes you make in the source file will be reflected in the reference file. When you click at when you see at the duplicate table in the view file, actually there will be no connection between the source file and duplicate file table, and you will find the duplicate table as an independent table. So let us see in this in some visualization format. So what are the different tables are coming from which sources? If you want to see in the discussion we have discussed, you can go to the view tab and you can see at the query dependencies. Now I'm going to the view tab, going to the query dependencies. Okay, let us enlarge it. Something it becomes very hard for to every time. Yeah. Now tables, you can see here. Yeah, this is a here. So here we have. See, we have this from here, we have selected employee source table. Okay. This employee source, from the employee source, we have created what? Reference table. See, this is the reference table. Now look at the arrow, it is pointing like this. That means whatever the changes you make in the source file, it will reflect in the reference file. But I have deleted this record, but arrow is not pointing in this direction, right? It is only unidirectional. If you make the changes in the reference file, it will not capture in the source file. That is clear. Now, when you go to the duplicate file, there will be no connection. See, source file and you say dependent table, duplicate table is a independent table. So when you go here, see, duplicate table here. This is the duplicate table. So there is no connection between the source file and duplicate file. Is there any connection? Because this duplicate table has serving as a independent table. If you make the changes in the source file, it will not duplicate in the this file. Now, whether it may be employee file, source file, whether it may be duplicate file, if you make the changes in the source level, if you make any changes, that will be deflected in the source file, that will be reflected in the duplicate file, because both source file and duplicate files are coming from where? It is coming from the source file. If you make the source file change any source, that will reflect in the source file and duplicate file. Okay, this is the general introduction. They will they will twist the questions in a different way. I'm changing the reference file, whether changing the resource file, what is independent file, what is a dependent file, what is a reference, what is a reference table, what is a duplicate table, which tables are dependent, which tables are independent. So if you have this basic understanding in your mind, and if the interviewer asks the question in a different way, it is not a problem for you. Okay, right. Now I'm closing this. Now let us go to the home tab. Here manage column also we have discussed. Now let us throw some light on another option in the home tab called as choose columns. Okay, choose column. Let us go to the order state. See, this Power Query, understanding the Power Query is very easy, because the only problem here is when you look at this entire Power BI course over here, it will divide into 4 parts that we have discussed. Like Power Query will be easy because it is very straightforward, options will be there for you, but only few concepts are very interesting. Those concepts are called as how to append the files, how to merge the files, okay, how to pivot and unpivot files, how we can perform merge the files like joint concept, and how to use invoke custom function, how to use conditional. Those 7 to 8 topics are somewhat logical. Group by option, those are logical. Remaining options in this Power Query are very straightforward. But as a Power BI developer, you need to understand, you need to navigate through each and every menu based option. It's don't know in which project that options will be useful. So what I will do is, let us go step by step and touch each and every options which are there. If those options require some time, we'll take a special class like manage parameters, group by. We want to discuss that more in detail. Okay, we'll take some time and we'll take 2 or 3 sample data and we'll try to work on that. Now let us go then an option called as choose columns. Okay, so I will try to come here in this orders table. What happens in the choose, where this choose column will be helpful. So I will try to minimize this, right? Choose columns. So the choose column will be helpful. Is my requirement is, if I mention, I will select is this many tables are present. If I collect the choose columns, okay. Yeah. My requirement is in the real time, suppose I have the data more than 100 tables are there, 100 columns are there, but I'm clear that those 100 columns are not required for my analysis. Okay. There are only 5 columns that will be required for performing my analysis purpose. And those 5 columns are all are required to build the report and share it to the clients. If this thought is clear in your mind. So unnecessary loading using different columns, unnecessary columns that are not required for analysis, that are not required for building the reports, unnecessary you are increasing the load on your Power Query, which may impact your performance while refreshing the report. So you just, for example, think only for this order column, I require only order ID, order date, or something. These columns like profit sales column, okay, quantity column, profit column. I want these columns. I don't want these columns to be appear in my interface. So just select on OK. When you select on this OK, when you select the columns, only columns that we have selected will remain in this interface, and remaining all other columns will be deleted. That is called as choose columns. Choose column means selected columns will be present over here and all other columns will directly get deleted. So This we call it as removed other columns. What is meant by removed other column means it has selected, choose the columns that we have selected. We have selected these 5-6 columns, and other columns are removed from your Power Query. That is called as choose columns. Okay. Now in this also, if I want to choose only first these 3 columns like row ID, order date cell, only first 4 columns, go for choose column. In that also I want to choose first 3 columns. Okay. Unselect all. Okay. I want to choose, I'm selecting all. I want only row ID, order date, these 3. And I want all the columns to be deleted. Okay. See, only order ID, these 3 columns, that is called as choose column. Okay. Now I'm going the step back, one step back, because I want the columns to be get back. In order to go one step back, we can go for the remove other columns. Okay. Now, next there is an option called as go to columns. Go to columns. How you can go? See, go to column means, suppose if you ask, suddenly you are asking me, sir, go to sales column. So I need to go and search for the sales where it is coming to the sales, and I will do like this. I will go to the sales column and I will show this is the sales column. Now this report is consisting of only 10 or 20 columns, or it becomes it became very easy for me. So after spending 30 to 40 seconds, I'm searching here and I'm going to this particular column. But assume in the real time you are connecting to the very big data set where you have more than hundreds or thousands of columns are there. In that column, I am asking to go to the column which is at 999 or 990 or 870 column. In that column, you need to go and check, and you need to drag, and it will take a lot of time. And sometimes if you drag it very fast, you will miss that. So in order to go to that particular column, so you can come here, you can click on go to column. In this go to column, suppose if you want to go to the sales column, just you type as sales, select this and OK. Directly you will go to the sales column over here. Suppose if I want to go to the profit column, so I'm presently, I assume I'm here in row ID. I want to go to the profit column, which is the dead right end. You can go to the choose columns, go to column. Either you click profit directly or you can type. Previously we have searched with the profit, and now I'm going to the profit. Click on OK. Yes, I am going to the profit. And when you closely observe this also has some issues. You can see some more time. Here, when you look at here, when you click on sorting over here, it is showing 2 types of sorting, natural order and name. What is meant by natural order? Here also, suppose if I'm going to like profit, if you're asking me to go for the profit, I'm coming here in the profit, you have only 20 columns. That profit it is representing for me here. I'm directly coming here, I'm selecting. In the real time, there may be suppose hundreds of columns or 1,000. Again, I need to search for it. And when I closely observe, it is not following the alphabetic order. It is in natural order. Natural order is nothing but whatever the data which is stored over here. First, it is row ID, order ID. In that format only, row ID, order date, ship date. When you go to the go column, row ID, order ID, ship date. So whatever the data which is stored over here, in that natural order only, the data has stored. But it is not following any alphabetic order. Now, in order to save your time, you need to click on the name. Once you click on the name, see your data is sorted into alphabetic order. For A, B, we don't have any column name starting from A, B, it's starting from C, D, M, O. Now, if you ask me to go to the profit column, directly I will go to alphabetic order P, and I will select instead of typing over here, I will select direct come to the alphabetic order P, and I will select to the profit column. If you ask me go to postal code, I will select the postal code starts from P. I select OK. Directly I'm going to the postal code. So in that ways also you can the go to column also by default it will show the natural order. So you must if you want to save the time, you can convert it to the alphabetic order and you go for you can ask me, sir, we can type at it as a profit also. Sometimes if you make some spelling mistakes or something and you don't know what type of the tables, you can't remember at every time. So better you can sort the alphabetic order and you can go to the columns. That is called as go to columns. Now, there after completing the home option, there is another option called as remove columns. Okay, remove columns. Okay, this option is also very simple. If you want to, in the Power Query, one operation is performed in the very different, in different ways. You find one option in 3 or 4 places you will find. Okay, when you see the Excel also, right? In the Excel also, same option will be visible at 3 or 4 places. So previously, I tried to duplicate this table, right? With which table I have duplicated, like employee table. If I want to create the duplicate table, from here I have duplicated. Oh, that is one of the options there. From employee table, suppose in the department table also, when I right click on it, right click on this table, here also duplicate reference. From here also you can create duplicate table. Here also we can create the duplicate table. From here also you can delete the tables. From here also you can rename the tables. Okay, so from here, advanced editor, it was in the home tab, you go to the advanced editor. Advanced editor is also present over here. In the home tab, we discuss about the properties. That properties also discovered over here. Okay. So when you are in the first table, if you want to one step up, if you want to down, okay, you go to the second table. In the right click, if you want to move up, again one down, you go to that third table. This is some of the options that easy. There will be find at the different places. Okay, leave it not. That's to just show you that it is not mandated that if you not find searching somewhere, it will be able to. This is the practice you can able to once you work on the real time data by taking different data set after working in the Power BI desktop for 1 hour month after finishing this course. You will able to see sometimes I will use from here, sometimes I will use from this here. And while you practicing it, you do it in your own way, it will becomes easy for you. Okay. Now in the orders table, remove columns options are there. Suppose what is meant by remove, let us try to explore. Suppose if I select, I want to remove these columns. Okay. So selected column, this order ID, first 3 columns I want to remove, not one table. If you want to select one table, okay, remove columns. If it's select directly, remove columns will be removed. Only one column, remove column, that column will be removed. If you want to delete 3 columns, so you need to click the control button, these 3, order ID, order date, ship date, these 3 if you want to remove, just you click on this, remove columns. So first 3 columns are removed. Okay. Now there is another option when you closely observe, remove other columns. What is meant by remove other columns? Remove other columns means whatever the columns you select, that columns will be remain. Other all the columns will be deleted. So this concept we have done it already. Where in the choose column also same, right? When you choose the columns you choose will remain. Others column will be deleted. That's why while you perform choose columns, here the option removed other columns will be that a step will be created as a removed other columns. If you want to see here, suppose I go to the choose columns. Okay, I want to choose this only 3 columns over here, this 3. When I select OK, see removed other column. That means ship mode, customer ID, these 3 I selected and other columns are removed. So how the transformation taking here while you do the choose column, it will go for this removed other columns. So it has choose the column that you want will be remain, other all the columns will be deleted. Okay, so I am removing this, not a problem. Okay, yeah, so remove other columns. My requirement is if I select this ship mode, I go for remove other columns. What result you will expect? Only ship mode will be removed, will be present, and all the columns after the ship mode will be deleted. Okay, I'm selecting this, remove other columns. See, only ship mode removed and other columns will be deleted. That is called as remove other columns. Okay, that is one of the important thing. So if I want to get you ask one step, whatever the steps, this is a very important. Whatever the steps that you perform in the Power Query, it will be recorded in the applied steps. Okay. If you want to go in a single go, if you want to see, it is called advanced editor. the tables which are loaded will be present in this query pane. So, and what are the formula will be present, it will be represented in the formula pane. And whatever the options which are there, we call it as Power Query ribbon, or we call it as ribbon pane, right? Okay. Now I'm going to, I want the data one back. If you want to go one step back, then you need to come over here. Okay, clear. Now we have an option called as keep rows, keep bottom rows, keep range of rows, keep duplicate. These are very easy. Okay, this is because these are straightforward. These are the straightforward. So my requirement is I have some thousands of 1 lakh rows are there. I don't want the analysis. I want only first 10 rows. Okay, I want 10 rows. Suppose your column profile 990, more than 1000 rows are there. I don't want all the rows. I want only top 10 rows, or the starting from first. It will ask you keep top rows. You need to go. How many rows I want from 1 to 10 up to here. So just you mention that 10 over here. Click on OK. See, from 1 to 10, those rows are remain. Now the steps are recorded. See, keep first rows. Keep first row. That means first rows. Now you want to see key first rows are there. You want to see how many rows are kept. If you want to see, then you need to go to the gear icon. When you go to the gear icon, so how many rows you have selected and that type of information if you want, you can go to the gear icon. Click on this gear icon. See, specify how many rows to keep. Number 10 rows. That 10 rows has kept. So here step, if you want to see what transformation, how many you have selected, you can come to this gear icon and you can check the transformation. If I want to go one step back, how I can go one step back? Click on this, you can go one step back. That's it. Now same, I'm here like next step, it is very straightforward. Keep bottom rows. My requirement is out of this 1000 rows, I want the bottom 10, only bottom. Niche ka 10 rows if I want, just you need to click on bottom rows. Okay, click on 10. Okay, so last 10, this bottom rows of the standard class, you can see this bottom, the rows will be so selected. So you can, if you want to see, keep first rows. If you selected last means right, bottom right, a update step is created by the name called as keep last rows. If you want to see how many rows we have kept, the 10 rows, that 10 rows are intact. And don't think that if it is saying the number is 1 to 10, first rows are selected. It is not like that. It will give the record name based upon the order name. And don't think if suppose 900 records are there, it will start from 881, 882, like that you will not get. Okay, right. Keep clear. Now I'm going to step back here. Now in the keep rows also, it will show keep range of the rows. What is meant by keep range of rows? I want to keep from here, from where? Here from 6 range of rows, from row 6 or something. I want to row 6 from Bushman of row 6. I want to keep it from 6 to 12. I want to keep this record starting from row 6, starting from row 12. These records I want to keep 6 to 11. So it will ask keep range of rows. So first row, so starting from which row I want to keep. So I want to keep from this 6th row. From 6th row, how many rows you have to keep? 6 means I want to keep some 6 rows. From 6 to 6 rows, I want to keep number of rows. Then you click on OK. So starting from 6th row, say Boston is starting from 6th. From that 6th place, I want to keep 6 records. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So from starting from 6th position, I want to keep 6 rows. That is called as range of rows. Okay, in your report, if you want to see different type of, suppose you work on some sales representative data, okay, from sales. Like if you want to see how one person is performing, if you want to see, one person is performing in one headquarter is assigned, like you're working as a medical representative. So you have assigned the sales for as a business manager for five different districts. If you want to see that rows only, then starting from that person, if the person is starting from 6th row, if the person is starting from 12th row, you can select that rows and you can see here. So that person information will be reflected. So you will use this type of information in the different, depending upon the requirement. I have given one simple use case for that. That we called as keep range of rows. If you want to see kept range of rows, applied step is created. When you go to the gear icon, started from first 6 to the number of rows. This is how we need to select it. Now I want to go one step back because I want the data to be represented again. I'm going to one step back. Now keep duplicates. Sometimes what happens, your data may contains the, if I select here, your data contains some type of the duplicates. If you want to show your only duplicates, some duplicates data will be represented. You can click on the duplicates. See whatever the data which is represented. See Good Duran, Sian, Bushman, it is duplicated. Ireland, Pettis it is duplicated this times. Keep duplicates. Joas it is duplicated. Eric Hoffman. So if you want the data which is only duplicated, if you want to keep the duplicate data, you go for keep duplicates. So a applied step we created called as keep to duplicate. Okay. Sometimes your data contains some errors. Okay, due to some storing of the data, it is up to you. You should whether to you want to don't want to delete there, because you cannot take directly chance that you not, if the errors are coming, you don't directly delete that errors. You need to meet some to a requirement. You want to set up the client. If you have some null values, if you have some blank values, don't directly go and delete that nulls. Don't directly delete the blank values. Go and don't directly delete the errors. So because you need to this error handling, null handling, blanks handling. Okay, these are the concepts, because you need to be very careful when you work with a large amount of data without informing you to your clients some blank data. If you remove in the future on that blank record, some new data will appear, then it will becomes a lot of problem for you while doing the testing of your reports. Okay, keeping the errors, keeping the duplicates, keeping the blank values, handling the nulls. You should be very careful with the thorough, like a meeting with your client or with your lead. Then you need to play willful based upon the client requirement, whether you need to take a chance, how to handle the errors, how to handle the duplicates. Okay, but think that there is one option called as keep errors. That means it will don't delete the errors, it will keep the errors. Okay, so right now our data is clean data, I don't have errors. That's why I'm not using, but I want to show that when you go to the remove rows, it will opposite. If you understand this, if you understand this, because opposite to this, I will not make transformation, because opposite, if it is a keep top rows, it will remove top rows. Keep bottom means remove bottom rows. Keep range means remove range of rows. Keep duplicates means remove duplicates. Keep errors, remove errors. Like that, it will show. So it is same. Other means remove errors, remove some blank rows are there. It will remove blankets, remove alternate rows sometimes. So suppose what is meant by remove alternate, this is one of the extra. So here first, second row will be deleted and third will be appear, fourth will be deleted, fifth will appear, sixth will be deleted, seventh will appear, like that. So if I select anything, any row, suppose if you give remove alternate rows, okay, it will show first row to remove from the number from first row, how many rows you have to remove, how many rows you have to keep. Just you need to mention that based upon that from first row remove, what are the rows that you need to keep, mention that number, how many rows to remove, then accordingly that your rows will be removed. Again, we have the rows transformation and the column transformation. While discussing with the rows and column transformation, we'll also touch these points again. For our understanding, require the basic how to what are the different type of the options are there. Because split column option also have explained only by delimiter. In the coming class, I will explain split by character, split by position, These all are coming from the column transformation. We can split again this topic into column transformation means how you can transform your column. Rows transformation, how you transform your row. Okay. So like that, we'll try to discuss. Okay. Now we have few time. Let us very important topic I will try like to discuss because as time is processing, like I will yeah, you need to understand some apart from understanding this theoretical understanding, you need to know how the data is generating at the back end and how the data processing will take place at the back end. Okay, data processing in the Power BI. So that is also actually very important. So when you load the data, how the data is loaded into the Power Query, and that is very important, data processing in the Power BI. Okay, and I will explain you how ETL activities will take space at the backend by using the Power Query. This type of this technical knowledge should be required for everyone. Okay, data processing. So whatever the transformation we are making right now, we are not writing any code. Just we are using some menu based option, just click based option. That's why Power BI got so much of hype in the market because the options are very user friendly. A person with a technical without any knowledge for understand this option, it is not necessary for the person should be a engineering graduate or a person from a computer background. All these are new sources, recent sources, enter data, choose column, remove rows, split column, group by. All these are a person who's having the knowledge up to a basic knowledge, he may from BCom and anything, or he can understand. That's why Power Query, they are Power BI, they are forecasting it as no coding or low coding tool. That's why a person who want to shift their domain into a non-technical into technical background or who want to shift to the IT career within 2 or 3 months, they are learning the Power BI. That's why the Power BI has got a lot of demand because same you have the many programming language as well. What happens? You go for Python, full stack Python to understand Python. What you learn SAS, at least 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 months it will take to shift that career. If you able to go, if you learn some Python, we go to the Java like core Java, advanced Java, it will lot of programming language. You need to burn your head while writing lengthy codes. But Power Query, it is writing code by yourself. All the options are menu-based options, easily be readable, and we can create with the drag and drop options. We are creating 30 many types of visuals, and within the one visual you are making by using drill option, drill through buttons, bookmarks. There are many. We can give some dynamic titles. That's why this tool has got some hype in the market because they have designed the tool as very user friendly. That means the clients are also showing interest to learn this tool, to migrate from other tools into here, because if you share the report and the client also finding easy for the navigation, so it has become easy for that. That's why the Power BI has previously, that's why a tool which is launched in the 2017, now it has becoming a hot cake in the market, and all the projects, previously Tableau is a leader, but now that take place has taken place by the Power BI because any business, even a small business like educational institutions, like the business who are conducting the startup company, they are using Power BI for the reporting purpose. Like I was very surprised to know that like this Apollo Pharmacy, these small based companies like Sri Chaitanya Narayana, for making that reports also, they are relying on the Power BI. They are coming from some freelancing project. So if you give some projects report and building the dynamic report, them they can analyze the performance of all the education institute of different location with single clicks. So previously, it becomes very hard to analyze their sales. That's why it is not a domain. It is Power BI. They're diversifying the tool into the different areas. That is the reason this tool has got the demand in the market, which has rapidly took the place of Tableau. Okay. Okay, leave it. But now data processing into the Power BI, how ETL transformation to make you know, like for every menu based options we are playing backend, it will write the code. So whatever the options we are using, these option called as GUI option. What is meant by GUI? Graphical user interface. So behind each GUI option that you are clicking, the backend it is writing the code. That code will be represented in the advanced editor you can see. This code we call it as mashup language. So based upon this code, your data will be executed. So this is how your data processing will take place. But now, actually, you need to understand how these ETL activities are happening in the Power Query. Okay, now you need to see here. See, I will take the examples over here. Here, right. If you are making any transformation, suppose in the orders table, think that you are in the 1,000 rows. Suppose you have connected the million rows over here. Suppose 10 lakh rows are there. 10 lakhs rows are there. I want to make some transformation. What is some basic transformation? I want to delete this column. Simple. Remove column. Column is removed. Now, when you remove the column, here column profiling based on top 1,000 rows. What does this indicate? That means even if you connect the file which is having assume 1 lakh rows, but while doing the transformation, Power Query will do the transformation on only on first 1,000 rows only. First 1,000 only. But when you click on this close and apply, when you click on this close and apply, the actual transformations of other records will take place. So when I click on close and apply, your transformations initially you do while doing the operation menu based option, only 1,000 rows will be transformed. But when you click on this close and apply, actual transformation data processing while loading this, the data processing will take place at the backend. The transformation will be completed. Once the transformation you will complete, you will come to where you will come to the Power BI desktop. And now, why you can say me why this are we are getting this as errors that we have changed some data source from there to here, right? That's why we got the visuals as this. So we'll try to remove the. This is not point of discussion here. The point of discussion here is when you click on first make any changes, it will perform the transformations on only 1,000 rows. But when you click on close and apply, actual transformation will take place at the backend. Now, if you click on close and apply, you came back to the Power BI desktop. Now you can ask me how you can go to the Power Query. Back, we have discussed the Power Query. Power Query is useful for the transforming the data. So you can come to this transform data, click on the transform data, you will go to the Power Query. You will come to Power Query. In the first class of the time, many students will come, sir, sometimes you are going to Power Query, sometimes you are going to Power BI desktop. Some people will confuse. There is no confusion, okay? If you click on the transform data, you will come to Power Query. Suppose if you make any transformation, suppose you remove this, okay, one transformation, then you click on close and apply, then you will go to Power BI desktop. This is very simple. But whatever you do the transformation, Power Query will do what in 1,000 rows only. Once you click on the close and apply, and remaining on suppose 1 lakh records are there, when you click on close and apply, actual data processing will take place when you click on the close and apply. Now you can ask me, sir, why it is not happening? Why it is 1 lakh transformation not taking place here in the Power Query? Why it is occurring at the back end when you click on close and apply is my question, right? You might be asking that, you might be getting down. What happens when you think practically? Suppose 1 lakh to make the transformation on the 1 lakh record, it might be taking lot of time. So in order to make this transformation, complete the transformation, it will take the lot of time to perform the operation of 1 lakh records within the Power Query. It might take lot of time. So if you taking for making the transformation or making the lot of time, so it will be not a good performance. It will be not a good practice if you taking a lot of making for the transformation itself. Not forget about the refreshing of report. For transforming your data, if you're getting a lot of time, so then you will raise a complaint. Yes, this tool is not user friendly. So that's why they designed the tool. Once it will do the column profile based on top 1,000 rows. So 1,000 rows is not a big deal. Then when you click on the close and apply, actual data processing will take place at the back end, and remaining whatever the leftover records are there, that transformation will be recorded at the back end when you click on the close and apply. So that is this is how the data processing. Actually, I was surprised. One of the interview, he was asking the same question. It was technically menu based option as answer same that he asked actually how the data processing takes place in the Power BI. He was expecting this type of the concept from the interviewer. So you need to understand. However, without this knowledge also you can do the transformation, but it is up to you. For every transformation you have to check at the back end, you need to see the visuals. Whatever you do the filters concept, we'll try to do it in a practical way. I make the transformation. Let us see the results. Whether your Power Query transformations are reciprocating with the visuals. In that troubleshooting manner, we try to learn the Power Query. Okay. And apart from that also, we have one interesting topic called as data types. Okay. What is data type? Now I will explain you what exactly meaning as a data type. So here we have the notes for everything also, but after the class I will try to share like whatever time things, see how ETL process will takes place in the Power Query. So what I have discussed, data processing in Power Query, ETL will not write any code. We use GUI options. GUI means graphical user interface. Behind every GUI option, it will written the code. It will write the code. The code we call it as mashup language. Same also how ETL activity up in the Power Query means it will bring first 1000 rows. Initially, it will transform 1000 rows. When you click on close and apply, data transformation will take place. And actual ETL transformation will take place when you click on close and apply. Why this is between each transformation time to reduce the data transformation time, to reduce the load on Power Query, to improve the performance of our report. Microsoft is designed the tool to bring the 1000 rows only so that the data transformation time will be reduced. So that is the reason for it. Now there is actually one important concept called as data types because this is very essential. Understanding the data type concept. In order to understand the importance of the data type, I will explain you how the data type is important, what happens if you choose the wrong data type, and how it will impact your visual. Okay, let us see. Let us see it in the practical, do that practical approach, and let us come to this theoretical concept then. Right. Now, I'm going to the sales column, right? Suppose I'm going to the sales column over here. Go to the transform tab over here. In the transform tab, what is meant by data type is your question. The information which is stored in the column will be represented is called as data type. When you look at the sales, what are the sales information is stored in the decimal? See, go to the data type. The data type is a decimal. That means in the sales we have stored the decimal number. Okay. I go to quantity. Quantity, these are numbers. 1, 2, 3 are numbers. That means data type is a whole number. So whole number data type is there. Okay, that means the data type, the data which is stored in this quantity column are the whole numbers. That is called as data type. Now you can ask me what happens ship mode, segment, all these are text, right? These are strings. So the data type will be reflected as text data type. When you go to ship mode, check the data type, it is text. When you go to the segment, here we have the text data type. See, data type is text. And what you can ask me when you, sir, when I go to the date data type, suppose we have to remove the dates, right? Okay, let us go to the department table or we can go to the employee table is there. Okay, we have date, right? Here date are stored. Then the data type will be date. So I'm selected here. Go to the data type. That means date data type. Whatever the information which is stored in the particular column, it represents the data type. That is clear. Go to the orders table. Now I will try to create one visual for you. Okay. I will try to create one visual for you. So this is a home tab. Now Power Query Editor. We are in the Power Query Editor. Now if I want to go to Power BI Desktop, what I should do? I should click on close and apply. When you click on close and apply, you go to Power BI Desktop from Power Query. In the Power BI desktop, when you click on transform data, you will come here. So that you should not forget. Okay. And I request everyone try to attend the classes if you have not through the mobile, try to attend the classes through laptop, because this small transformation, if you see in the mobile, it will not become, you will not able to see perfectly. Okay. If you don't, because for practicing, laptop is mandatory. You should if you have a laptop only, because listening, definitely you will understand whatever the complicated subject is there. I will make it in a very simpler format. You will understand that is my responsibility. But getting practice and getting expertise is your responsibility. Once you practice only, you will become expertise. Listening, it will helpful for you. Okay, you will understand because you may go step by step. But if you get practice, it will go into your mind, and soon after complete the class, then after completing of the 2 months course, you can directly put your resume and you can start giving the interview. Otherwise, don't follow this methodology. I will go attend for 2 months or 3 months coaching. I will practice 2 months and I will give the interviews. That is a very blunder approach, because the interest which is there in the learning or during attending the coaching will not be present after completing the course, because your focus will be diluted. I seen this is my practical experience. When you attend the class, do practice, it will be helpful for you. And some people will run like will think in a different way. 1 week classes, I will Monday to Friday, I will finish it on Saturday and Sunday. Once the burden of the classes will pile up, you will lose your interest. Okay. This should keep in the mind at the end of the course. Now, data types. Okay. The sales data type, when you click on this close and apply over here, right? I want to build a visual. Okay. Country wise sales. Suppose orders table. I'm going to the orders table also. Here, like region wise sales, I want to build some chart, pie chart. So this is a pie chart. Same, the chart that I have built for you. I will give a simple example. Region I have deleted, right? Okay, there are many columns that I got deleted. So what happens, I will create sales column is there. Sales column is also not there. Okay, not a problem. I will go to the get data, Excel workbook, downloads, sample superstore data. In the sample superstore data, I want to load only orders table. Okay, I want to load only one. I'm loading it again because I want to explain the importance of the data type. Yeah. See, as order table is there, it is showing order 2 here. Now region wise sales I want to select. Okay, select the region. Region came over here. Sales. So we got this information. Fine. Now what I will do, I will go to transform data in the home tab. If I want to go to Power BI desktop, if I want to go to the Power Query, where click on transform data. Right. Now same, I will go to order 2 table here. We got the visuals perfectly. Now I will go to the sales column over here. This is the sales. What is the data type? To check the data type, go to transform. Data type is decimal number. Now willingly, I will assign this data number from decimal number is to text. So it will ask, do you want to change the data inside here? I want to change, replace current. Numbers are same, 26.1 something. Numbers are not changed, values are same, but data type have changed from decimal data type. By looking at it, it will represent the format decimal, you look it, but I have changed into text data type. Okay, this is a wrong representation. Now I made some changes, right? Change the type. Now I want to apply this. Click on close and apply. You come to here, visuals. What happened? Instead, you have selected region wise sum of sales correct only.
but your visuals are getting wrong. Reason being, your data is correct. When you see here, it is the field is deleting from model and can't be used in the model because previously decimal data types of sum is there that you have deleted. That's why the field you are getting the wrong because you have given the data type as wrong. Now what I will do? I will go again from the home tab. I will correct the data type. Now I will come back to the visual. I will see whether again my visual is appearing or not. How I can go to the Power Query? Go to the transform data. In the transform data, I need to go where? Orders table 2. Here, let us come to the sales section. Okay. Sales. In the sales, come to transform. Here, the data type is text. Again, I'm changing. Previously, it is a decimal data type. I'm changing the data type into decimal number. It is asking replace for current. Yes, I am sure I want to replace it. So my data type is changed. Now I want to save this information. How to save the information? Come to home tab. You need to click on close and apply. Once you click on the close and apply only, all the changes will take place. So I'm clicking close. When you click on close and apply, where you will go? You will go to the Power BI desktop. Click on close and apply. Once see data is loaded. You see the visuals and again visuals are coming. Again the visuals are coming. So that means why the visuals are coming? Because you have set the data type. That is the importance of the data type. Okay. And in the remaining class, we'll go deep into the data types. What is actually data types? What are the different types of data types are there? What is the examples of different data types? What are unique identifiers? Why unique identifiers are stored in different data types? We'll be discussing in the next class. Okay, with this, we have finished the today's class. And if you have any doubts that you can ask for me and hope there may be actually, as per the discussion, there are many non-technical backgrounds students are there, but I try to make it as simple as such. So a person who's having a basic knowledge on computer also can able to grab the subject. So still you have any doubts that you can ask me. Okay, is it fine for everyone? Like everybody is understanding the concepts? Like Divya, Anusha, Pranati.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
it is understandable.
Okay, fine. Just you can go through it like you try to. I will after the class I will try to share the recording as well, and I will share the practice data set. If you like the class and if you inform to your friends and try to your class will be weekend the same timing. So let us continue with the remaining topics from tomorrow. Okay. So try to enroll the admissions from tomorrow because we have already week batch has started Monday to Friday. If you try to miss the classes from here, you can try to attend the classes of the weekday class as well. Both will go at the same pace. There will cover 5 hours. Here also will be covering the 5 hours. Okay. And thank you. Thanks for joining the session in spite of your busy schedule on Sunday. Thank you.
So overall duration, how many years, sir?
Duration, it will more 55 to 60 hours. It will be coming hours basis.
Okay.
Okay. Each topic will be discussed. At least each section will be discussing about 14 to 15 hours. So it's not like 30 days will complete the score. It will be hours, the course. Like will because if anybody is interested, like in between, if you are going at the slow place, I will ask some week classes at any holidays. I will take the class and I will try to finish the course. You will get the complete course as well. It's not like 30 days I will complete the course. Each and topic will be completed in detail. That is my responsibility. Right.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. And I'm stopping the recording. Okay. Thank you.